Okay, so let's talk about Jade Shadows. First of all, let's get out of the way that it is coming out on the 18th. Yes, it's coming June 18th, but I want to talk more about Jade herself. We know what she does now. We got some gameplay of her. The gameplay that you're going to be seeing on screen is work in progress, okay? As in, it's subject to change. This is from the dev stream. But let's go over her abilities, okay? First of all, she has a passive, okay? The passive, well, she had two passives, in fact. First passive, Jade had two aura slots, as shown by this image here, and we got confirmation that they're fully working aura slots. They will work exactly how aura slots work right now in the game, which means she'll have more capacity than any other Warframe, technically, by default, without any format at all, which I just think is pretty crazy to think about. And her second passive is her first and fourth abilities give enemies a debuff that make them more vulnerable to all damage. So just think about abilities like Curse or Doom, where on Calibo and the Goth, respectively, that open the enemy up to more damage. So those will just be on by default, debuffs by default, just by her using her 1 and her 4. I think that's crazy already. She's a support character, but she may be able to support herself with this logic. So let's get into the other abilities. Ability 1, or first ability, create a well of light that both heals allies and hurts enemies over time within its area of effect. That's actually pretty cool. I don't know how many of you guys play the game, but there's a certain game I play called Destiny 2 at the moment, and this reminds me a lot of Warlock's well ability, the ability. Yeah, anyway, if you want to see more Destiny 2 content or any other games, I have another YouTube channel. Feel free to check it out. It's called Vamp, link in the description below. But back to Warframe, and specifically Jade. Pretty brilliant. Hurts enemies over time, heals both allies and hurts enemies. It's pretty brilliant, if I may say so. Second ability, cycle through 3 different auras. Swapping between auras does not cost additional energy after casting. Okay, now let's actually take a look at this. Swapping between auras does not cost additional energy after casting. So you can swap through them for free, but I guess casting them does cost energy, which would make sense. Their abilities, we have an aura for increased shield regeneration, including overshields, increased ability strength, and increased squad damage. I feel like the overshield might be the most important one. Maybe the squad damage. Ability strength seems neither here nor there, honestly. If I had to pick which one I think was the weakest one. But, don't quote me on that. I could be wrong about that entirely. Let's move on, shall we, to her third ability. Any enemy in her line of sight is slowed and suffers armor strip effects. Downed allies within her sight will also be revived from afar when cast. This is also her subsume ability, excluding the revive functionality. They don't make it so any frame can revive any frame. So basically, any enemy within line of sight will suffer armor strip effects and be slowed down. So that is going to be her ability. The helmet one is just the first part. If it's on her directly, you cannot revive fallen teammates. So I guess that's not bad. And then her fourth ability, take flight and deal damage with your exalted. Mark enemies with your first ability and detonate them with your alt fire. Okay, so that's interesting. Her fourth ability lets her fly, and I guess she had an exalted weapon. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? This is actually a very nice showing of Jade. And like I said, the gameplay you're seeing, as mentioned on the dev stream, it is a work in progress and it's subject to change. So definitely keep that in mind. And yeah, hopefully you guys like Jade. Definitely let me know what you guys think of Jade herself. Okay, I don't think she's bad at all. I mean, is she going to be the best in the world? I don't know. She's a support frame at heart, and I don't know. I use support frames as if they're not support frames. And it's very weird, especially in Warframe, because when you hear support frame, you think, oh, a frame that can only handle support, can't handle themselves, it's only there to support, only there to buff up the allies and the debuffs to the enemy, kind of like a bard type situation. For those of you guys that don't know, a bard is a class in other games, you know, kind of like the musical class in games. They will debuff enemies, they will buff allies, put tons of buffs. Although Jade doesn't put a bunch of buffs on her ally. She healed the biggest thing she does with support, in my opinion. She double damage, not double, that's early, don't quote me on that, but she increases her ally damage, which is fine, don't get me wrong, but Rhino can technically do that, and some other frames can as well to some extent. Now she does debuff the enemy, which is a support thing. I don't know. I'm going off of them. They technically said she's support, but I think that she might be more like a mixer, support slash DPS, because of the fact that she can dish out the damage herself and she can heal herself, right? So yeah, let me know what your thoughts, comment section below, okay? And with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.